Welcome to this episode of the NexGen show. The NexGen show is about showcasing young people in our industry, in the advertising, marketing, media, broadcast industry. And it is by talking to them that we can have an understanding of their hopes and dreams. Today we have with us a lady who is new to the broadcast industry. And then we will talk about Malaysia's first AI DJ. And then we will talk about challenges in the broadcasting industry. So on that note, I would like to say hello to Jean De Silva.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jean. Good to have you here.
Thanks, I really appreciate it. It's an honor.
Now, you've been in broadcast now for some months?
Just 2 months. I'm like a baby in the industry, actually.
Okay, you're a broadcast baby.
Yes.
Okay. So how is your experience so far been?
I've always known the radio and broadcasting industry to be a really fast-paced one, but as soon as I stepped in, that's when I really immersed in this whole experience. And I've always loved the entertainment industry, anything involved in content and presenting. So it's been an amazing experience. Testing your creative skills and networking is a huge part of it. So I've definitely loved this experience. It's my first job, in fact. So
very good.
Yeah,
very good. Well, they say when you are in broadcast, you are a famous person.
Yeah.
Actually, it is you who make people famous, right?
True, yeah, because for my job, I'm not an announcer, I'm a producer. But whether or not you're in front of the camera or not, you're always networking, you're interviewing people, you're meeting people. So in one way or another, everybody is networking and connecting and such, yeah.
Tell me, what do you know about the advertising industry?
So like I said, I'm still like a baby in this industry.
Yes. What does you as a baby know for the advertising industry?
So what I've really understood is that having your creative skills is so important. Now everybody can easily go to ChatGPT. That's why seems like AI is taking over. But honestly, even with ChatGPT, it's so important that we still test our creative skills by the people we meet sometimes. So It's not always about relying on what you see on the internet. But for me, I learn a lot better from actually speaking to people in the experience because they are more genuine. They will really advise you and such. So that's how I've come around in this industry, yeah.
Is there any advertisement or brand that you found recently that struck your mind with regards to their campaigns or ideas that come to mind?
I would say not necessarily because I'm still exploring a lot. Yeah.
As a consumer,
yeah,
not as a person working in the broadcasting industry, you get exposed to a lot of interesting work.
Yeah.
Right. So, is there anything like, for example, any festive commercial or you've seen recently? Now we are in the Chinese New Year season.
Yes, for sure. Now, when you mention if there's any companies, honestly, I've seen a lot of content creators themselves. They are actually independent people in the creative industry. But these content creators and influencers that you now see on Instagram, honestly, their content is so creative that sometimes the bigger companies may not have adapted that. We've seen how people have immersed into transitions and such. So you'll be very surprised, actually, to see a lot of content creators who have a very strong mind in the creative side that a lot of companies can't adapt. So I've seen a lot, I would say, content creators. There's this one Chinese girl. She's very, very popular for her transitions. Maybe like we can pop up her name or something. I couldn't remember her name, but she's really popular for all her transitions, whether it comes to outfits or changing different locations. And I feel that a lot of clients have reached out to her because they could easily hire much more experienced people. But this girl started off in the content creation industry. But somehow she's getting millions of views, thousands of views, and a lot of people are getting her for campaigns, whether it's festives or it's any occasion. So sometimes we have to look at content creators themselves and see that it's not just the big companies that can really produce this type of product. It's the younger people itself that can do it.
You're right, absolutely right. In fact, influencer marketing, they eventually become influencers. It's a big thing in our business. marketers use that to leapfrog into a space where they get instant followers.
Yeah.
But managing the content creator is another business.
Yeah.
Because of the, as you can understand, marketers want what they pay for or whatever, and the content creator wants to protect whatever he or she has. But when they manage to meet and match, it does wonders for brands.
Very true. Yeah, because I believe that sometimes when these big companies, maybe back in the days, they always rely on all the top people in the industry. But when you actually meet these youngsters, everybody has to understand that things don't work the same it did 20 years ago. Now everybody almost relies on social media. So sometimes when you actually meet and speak to these young influencers or content creators, the ideas that they come up with and produce on social media, you may not find it the same many years ago. So sometimes it's like I really like how you're speaking to people in my generation, because the things that we are learning now is way different than before. So the ideas and the trends that we follow is something that may not have been able to be picked up like a long time ago.
Thank you for sharing. Sometimes these ideas, Jean, that are created by these content creators, the ideas may not be executionable.
True.
But now with social media platforms and other platforms, like even podcasts, it is possible for ideas that were thought about before, but now can be executed and finally realized.
Yes.
You're right. The young people come up with very, very interesting ideas and very, very actionable plans. And they know that they now have the tools at their disposal to use, and they are very, they experiment a lot. We in the marketing industry, we also see that as a very positive. But do you think that it is this sort of in the current situation, in this current environment, with so many platforms, so many channels, so many messages, so many creators also, as you mentioned, that getting through is quite difficult to make an impact?
Sometimes it can be, but what I've noticed is maybe top bosses, or they can be in their 40s, 50s, or 60s. A lot of them are jumping on the bandwagon with TikTok and Instagram. And to be honest, maybe many years ago, you would have to go to these big locations, get a big production team. But honestly, just to market one product, if you can follow a simple TikTok trend, you may just get the views that you want. It can even be marketing your product through a prank or a very simple video, a very minimalistic video, but still provides a lot of impact. And I've seen that when I've done freelancing on social media. I'm telling you, people can get millions of views even without so much of planning, with all the big lights and traveling 1 hour away to film things. Sometimes all these companies will follow one trend, and you'll notice a consistency that, hey, if I follow this trend, I can actually get this amount of views and such. So I do see a lot of bigger and older companies used to find a lot of ways to, market the product. But now all they do is go to TikTok and they find the trend and they follow that. And somehow it works. It actually works. So it's all about trial and error.
Yes.
So I would say, even maybe whether it's for your company or among your friends and colleagues, it's always good to actually look through TikTok and Instagram to market your products. It actually could help that way sometimes. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Those old rules become new rules, and these rules are being changed every day.
In fact, there's no rules really anymore.
There are no
Everybody's
rules
going
really.
it.
Yeah. Very interesting. Now, I want to ask you, Media Prima launched their AI DJ.
Yes.
DJ Aina.
Yes.
Yes. And I believe now you are also working on the same DJ Aina and moving forward into the next phase.
I just started very recently.
Okay.
So I myself am learning a lot about her, because I had a touch of experience in AI when I did my psychology degree back in Taylor's. So I had a touch of experience. So getting to do this now, it's very interesting, because I think a lot of people still underestimate AI or don't really understand how AI can actually be the new future in our industry and such. But it can be very interesting if people give it a chance to, really take on.
Very interesting that I believe they were one of the first in the world, Media Prima, to create this AI
First,
DJ.
first in the country, but they are, I believe, either like the second or third in the world, because when Media Prima did launch it, apparently there were 2 other countries that launched about the same time. So it all sort of happened at the same time, but I think Media Prima and the other 2 countries are taking on this new initiative in their own ways. So,
Yes. You know, it won a Gold Award at the Epis. It's an amazing piece of innovation and bravery, actually.
For sure.
Because, well, now you're the producer there.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how this whole thing works? I mean, how does it come about and the challenges?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's very interesting because I think a lot of people still don't understand that Aina is actually a real announcer. She's a DJ. She has her own show. A lot of people just think maybe she has a platform on Instagram, but she really is an announcer, and there is someone behind the scenes to create the content and produce it for her. So people might ask, like, but how does she stand out? Like, people might think it's boring, but honestly, AI can stand out. It has its own twist because Aina does have her own character by itself. So
okay, let me stop you there because I prefer to remain uneducated in all matters that govern our universe.
Yeah.
You just said that Aina does exist.
Yes, she does.
As an avatar or as a person?
No, she's not a real person. So
she's an avatar.
Yeah, she is an avatar.
Carry on,
yeah.
sorry.
No worries. Yeah, so she's not real. She's not like a real life person, but she is an avatar. And I think that it's a really interesting and a really good challenge of an initiative to do this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've heard of anybody doing something like this before. So it definitely is something new in the creative industry that a lot of people are still asking about. So
now, how does... I'm just very curious about this DJ Aina. And you are there now in the studios. And can you share a bit more about her?
Okay, so what I can at least say about her is that people might ask, again, like, why is she so different compared to the rest? Well, her content is just still like any other announcer. We may cover some of the same content, different times of the day. But again, Aina as an AI announcer, she has her different character. She has her sarcastic humor. She can have the deadpan humor and such. So if you're an actual human announcer, you can't be having a very sarcastic character all the time. People cannot really relate to you that way. But when you have an AI, your character has to stand out. So the point of Aina is not to be exactly like the human announcers. She has to stand out in her own way. So when I create the content, it can be content just like other announcers, but the way it's conveyed has to be different. So when people listen on air, it would be nice if people can actually compare just to see the difference. What's it like with a human announcer and how differently you hear it from an AI itself. So the point is you're not supposed to hear like a robot. She still has her own emotions and such. So we're not trying to present you a very robotic type of announcer. Yeah.
Okay, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Jean, you look like a host of.
Thank you.
You can easily. You have the stature and the articulation and the voice. Do you see yourself becoming a host at some stage?
That has honestly been my dream since I was young, because though I did a psychology degree, people ask, how did you go from psychology to the entertainment industry?
Right.
But honestly, psychology is applied anywhere, every day, and any time. Psychology is basically our life. It's got to do with humans, your behavior. So I thought, why not apply in any job? Psychology can be applied anywhere because I'm thinking about humans, I'm thinking about my audience and the creative side. So how I like to picture myself for the future, I would love to get into the presenting, hosting industry. And in fact, I do freelance hosting because I like to explore as much as I can in this creative industry. So it helps a lot when you're also a producer because you're constantly being tested in the creative side. Yeah.
Do you see yourself also being a content creator on your own?
Well, that's definitely for me to think about. Because I like to be ambitious and I know that I want to be a host for sure. And I didn't know exactly how I was going to get that, but I still get opportunities here and there. In fact, like I'm doing one next week. So once in a while, that's how I always want to connect myself with people. Because when I did a freelance job, immediately one of their employees reached out to me and said, hey, why don't you do street interviews for this? And that's how I started off. So when you really network with people, you have no idea the amount of opportunities that you could get.
Yes.
Yeah, just in one event itself. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
We wish you well, Jean.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for sharing. It's good to see someone who not only embraces AI, is inspired by it, but also who can appreciate the human side of the function of, say, avatars, or we hope you're very successful.
Thank
in
you.
whatever your
I really
ambitions
appreciate
are.
it. Thanks.
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jean De Silva, our guest on this episode. Until we meet again, thank you.